So we encourage you to simply click on that one time, which we're going to do right now. Okay, so it's prompted us that the child is not needed. Okay. So basically it's telling us the minor, as we indicated, the minor does not get included in the cost of the policy. As in the case with the prior ones, this is Anthony. It's a policy issued to Anthony Ocampo. And these are the cards. And you will note that there's only 3. So it's for the father, the mother, and the oldest child. The minor child is not included in the cards. They're obviously dependent. And in the case before, it's got ID numbers. It also has important telephone numbers. It has all the information that would be needed for this. It also has a summary of the that's a receipt, if you will, of the purchase. So you have all 3 people and all 3 card numbers issued there, and that should be fairly straightforward, fairly understandable. And what we're going to do then is we're going to jot down, as indicated all along, it's important to have the information at your hands here. So we're going to jot down the policy numbers so that we can go into the next screen and walk you through the pulling down of the visa letters. So as indicated in the past, if you've got other needs to talk to somebody live, you can do that. If you need world toll-free numbers to access something, you can do that. You want to get a description of the coverage of this particular policy, you can do that. You can go in and extend coverage if you believe you're going to be there longer than you anticipated, because the policy is extendable for up to 12 months, but the policy that you've purchased is only good for the period of time that has been selected here. So in this case, I believe it was 2 weeks reflected here, 15 days. If it's going to go beyond that, the policy can be extended, and that's important to point out. But what we're going to do is we're going to go in here like we have in the past to point out how if a visa letter is needed. And what we're going to do is key in, and all you need to do is get one of the participating parties, and it brings up all of the visa letters. So in the case, this is the father, and we're going to get him in here, and you'll see what comes up. It'll be very apparent. Well, let's key another one in here and see if... Anyway, keying one of them in, we'll get the information to show up. Now, we pointed out before, sometimes there is a lag between the information that was submitted previously in the screens and the system catching up and being able to tie this request with information that already exists. And that's obviously the case because we're having issues with getting we'll try it again. We're very stubborn. We're not going to give up that easy. But it does show you that it could very well take some time for the system to update. It may not be automatic, and that is something just to be aware of. Well, we're having a little bit of difficulty here. Let's see if we can get this to go in again. Well, we're not having any luck today getting into this. And as we've indicated before, this could very well have more to do with let's try this again here. come back out and give it another try. Let's see if we can succeed this time around. Bear with me as we go through this process. There we go. So as indicated, what you might want to do in the future to save yourself that kind of headache is wait 4 or 5 minutes. So after you've completed the process, you've purchased the policy on behalf of the client, it can take some time for that information to not only get transmitted from where you are to the United States for it to be included, and then the updating internally to reflect that it exists and have the subsequent documents created. So hopefully that demonstrated that if you do encounter that, it won't necessarily be that what you input was wrong or incorrect. It could very well be that the data just hasn't been translated or updated in the system. So just be patient, be mindful of that. And I hope that was a suitable example of showing you, even though we didn't set out to initially show you that, but it's beneficial to you to understand that can be a lag in the input of the data. So hopefully that was constructive. What we're going to do is, we've seen this before where you can go and you can get claim information. There's additional ID cards. If for whatever reason they weren't gathered the first time around, there's the card for Mr. Ocampo. All this other information we went over in previous videos that were information for the client access portal. Now the visa letter, again, is something that I want to show you. We're going to open it up and again have it demonstrate what's included in this. So here we are. This is another example. It's important for you to note that the 3 people with whom the policy is required to cover are included on here. The father, the mother, and the oldest son have a certificate number, a termination date, a passport, and a citizenship. The details of the policy are included here as well, so that you can see that these are in fact included on the policy. It's a legitimate policy. It's the letter that accompanies you as you travel, and it's a confirmation of coverage. It spells out the nature of the coverage so that there are minimum requirements for travel as identified by you or a travel agent to a client, that this policy demonstrates a compliance with minimum standards. They could very well exceed it, but in most cases they need to at least meet the minimum requirements. So that gives you a document that can be printed, saved, and forwarded to your client, so that it's something that they can use for their travel. Very important part of this training process. So we're going to go back here. Here we are. We're basically at the end of this one again. This is the end of our 3rd video. We've effectively shown you how a family of 4's travel policy would be secured and the relative information that would be needed for that. And I believe we've successfully covered that for you. So what I'd like to do at this point in time is bring you back to the home page for you as the client, and know that this is, again, after having completed the sale, you'll be brought back here so that you can effectively start the process all over again, or at least be prepared to do so in the event that another opportunity presents itself. We thank you for joining us for this continuing education and training series. We hope that this has been another informative session for you. We invite you to continue with the training process and continue with the other videos in this series and gain an even better appreciation for the additional products that WorldGuard and Discover the World Marketing have made available to you, and that you become familiar and confident with each of them so that you can go out and do the job in the manner that you feel is appropriate and that you are able to satisfy the client in doing so. Thank you again from WorldGuard. We look forward to another session with you. Thank you.